I'm Pastor Jake. We're in Luke chapter 6, verses 40 through 45 for our Bible study. And Jesus starts out the gate this way. Disciple is not above his master, but everyone that is perfect should be as his master. What he's talking about here is if you call yourself a Christian, then act like one. Because the term Christian means to be Christ-like. When we start being selfish, just start being hateful and nasty and gossiping rumors, that's not Christ. That's the devil, and that's who you're going to be. That's who you're acting like. So that's why we have to check ourselves and say, hey, you want to live like Christ every day, to be good and helpful, loving, kindness, and just be out there for people. You know, Christ said he came to serve, not be served. And this is one of the things about it. We need to be more Christ-like. The second thing he says is, you behold the speck that's in your brother's eye, but then you've got a beam stuck in yours. In other words, every time we turn around, judging is one of the biggest things in churches. It gets a lot of churches in trouble. It's when we start judging people, gossiping about people, and talking about people when we shouldn't. We should be worried about our relation with the Lord and not everybody else's relationship with them. This next thing he goes on, he said, a good tree brings forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree brings forth corrupt fruit. And every tree is known by its fruits. For the thorns men do not gather figs, nor bramble bush gather grapes. And what he's talking about here is that how you act, what's coming out of your mouth, what you're doing, it's showing the people what kind of person you are. Jesus said that he would know his disciples by their love. But what I see a lot in churches, and I'm not judging no one, what I'm just saying is when you still see a lot of backbiting, hatefulness, a lot of churches going after each other, it's sad. We need to be worried about what the purpose that we have for God and be out there doing it. The last thing he says, a good man out of the good treasure of his heart brings forth good fruit. An evil man out of the treasure of his heart brings forth evil fruit. For the abundance of the heart, a man speaks. In other words, what's in your heart is what's coming out of your mouth. And that's what we got to. I'm guilty as anybody else on this earth. I had to reset myself. I had to reset myself from religion. I had to reset myself from everything to be more Christ-like. I had to come to Christ, bend my knees, and ask for forgiveness.